So when you're an undergrad and you were trying to figure out what you wanted to do,
Yeah.
you know, we're in college and we all take this risk as entrepreneur students.
Sure.
Everybody's focused on accounting, finance, getting that, you know, Big Four, Goldman Sachs, and it's risky to deviate off that path. And what, I'm sure that was flowing through your mind when you were deciding to kind of veer off, and what ultimately made you decide to take a more entrepreneurial, holistic approach rather than just a micro-focused approach?
Awesome question. Okay, so the starting off with real experience in finance and accounting and those types of classes, I can't underemphasize how important those classes actually are, because they give you the foundation to be able to be more successful entrepreneurs or whatever you're going to ultimately do. They really are foundationally important. For me personally, it was having lots of lunches and meetings with people who had taken as a career a full finance path and staying in Goldman Sachs, you know, and becoming a partner in a consulting firm. Lifestyle was really important to me. Not traveling too much. I got married at 24, and I had a kid at 26. Like, I have a 14-year-old now, which is kind of crazy, because I feel like I'm still 14. But not traveling too much was really, really important to me, and frankly, not working the 18-hour days that one worked for a sustained period of time was very important to me. Working 10, 12, 15-hour days, whatever it is, for a year or two was absolutely acceptable to me. Working for those type of hours for 7 to 10 years was not. So for me, it was a very easy decision, but ultimately the best thing that I did was asked as many people who are in their 30s and 40s and 50s just to go to lunch with me. And the receptivity to just going to a lunch and people wanting to help people and mentor people was so high. People would say to me, I don't know why more students don't ask this. Or not forget students, why more first or second year associates don't ask that. And this genuinely just earnestly asking for advice. And you'll find the right path for you once you start asking those type of questions and get that exposure. Yeah.
I mean, obviously to grow your business, you have multiple facets, outlets that you need to optimize.
Yes.
And you only have a certain budget to allocate. You're obviously pivoting constantly. How do you know when to pivot, what to test, how much to put in?
Such a great question. Okay, so we have all these different avenues. So let me just list out the avenues, right? So we could grow traffic through email. We could grow traffic through, our content can be used in email. Content can be used in social. We have 400,000 Facebook followers. Content could be used on our site. Content can be used, we're in business development deals where we put our content on Yahoo Finance or on Bloomberg that then gets traffic back to our site. So we literally create, so now to answer your question, we literally create a matrix of all the different ways in which we could use content. And the key is having multiple purposes for everything that we create. So one piece of content, I'll give you an example, like something that did really well on Facebook was top 10 finance movies. Okay, we had like tens of thousands of people that liked it and commented on it. Top 10 finance movies ever made. That's something that did great, but it's very great. It's great for social, but you're not going to end up creating like all these newsletters around that type of content. Conversely, analysis of an individual stock, like we think that Yahoo is a great buy because of Alibaba, transition, etc. That could be really interesting in a newsletter about like a stock recommendation, but that's not like socially interesting. Like no one on social is going to be like, wow, I gotta pass this one on to this is I'm gonna like this thing and put it on my feed. Like that's not going to happen. So the bottom line is, you look at all the different avenues, and we try to create content that has multiple purposes, right. And we always reuse one piece of content in multiple avenues to do it cost effectively as possible.
Test matrix.
Yeah, so we do
the variables, right? Because it's a threshold. There's like all the content is proprietary. You need good content for long-term growth, but you also need content to spike it up constantly in the real time. And it's also traced back to your SEO.
Ooh, your stuff.
Sort of.
No, but
where's the? I mean, are you constantly testing small avenues to optimize that?
Beyond.
Perpetually?
We're creating 20,000 pieces. So we put content in 3 buckets. Okay, there's evergreen content that's timeless, like what's the difference between a 401k and an IRA? That will live forever. Social, no, but it will live forever. The evergreen will grow over time, right? Then we have semi-timely, something like, how does Costco make money? It's relevant for the next 3 or 6 or 9 months, but it may not be relevant if Costco changes its model. And then we have timely content that's basically news. And it's like Donald Trump was just on Saturday Night Live and he, sucked at it or whatever. We won't say that, but it'll be something like the Greek crisis just happened. What does it mean for me in terms of my travel interest to Greece over the next year or so? That's totally timely. That doesn't have that much shelf life, and we'll look at actually the curve of I'm going to use this thing. So you create a news piece. Here's what happens: huge spike. No SEO value, doesn't give you any value for the future. You create an evergreen piece, doesn't do nothing in the beginning, but then year 1, year 2, year 3, long value that happens over a period of time. Every piece of content that we create, we actually came up with something called DTE, which stands for days to even. We literally know exactly how long it takes to break even every single piece of content. So a news piece might take 1.5 days to break even on that piece. But this piece might take 3 years to break even on that piece. And every one of our editors has a spreadsheet that starts blinking blue whenever that content piece breaks even, because on an hourly basis that spreadsheet updates. And we'll know how much traffic we got to the piece, what the advertising revenue was for the piece. We know how much we spent and cost for the piece. We do the math, and kind of that's how we do it. So it's extremely
You have ROIs for each.
every single piece of content, and for every category, and for every subcategory. And we have a monthly content meeting where we sit and we look at all the data that we have, and we're like, whoa, we better heavy up on retirement content because it's killing it. Oh, this Forex content is doing terribly. Kill that. Oh my God. Whenever we put the words best of 2016 in there, it does unbelievably well. Now, so my content analyst just told me today, he's like, so we created 400 pieces of content about best of 2016. I'm like, great. So it's really scientific. And again, science and data really wins.
So what is a startup to do?
So the number one is that
Constant refinement.
yeah, it's just data. Like, invest in the infrastructure to capture all the data that you need to make smart decisions. If you're a startup, do not just go by your gut. Go by your gut in terms of directionally what you think makes sense. But you need the combination of art and science. It can't just be art, and it also can't, by the way, just be science. It needs to be the combination of the two. And you need to invest in the infrastructure for data. Okay, last one.
So a couple things for that, and good question. I have a comment and then a question. So if you know the idea of this course, a lot of it's built around this lean launch pad and ultralight startup, which is all about testing hypotheses, right? And
Awesome, great.
It has data, that's actually testing. So it's not about guesses. It's about kind of a scientific, evidence-based method.
Great.
So it's very interesting. That's the comment. The question is, where does the content come from? So you probably have some people in-house that you pay, maybe pay journalists so much a word. I've also noticed on Harrow, help the reporter out, more and more queries for Investopedia.
Yeah, because we're growing so much. Okay, so first I will tell you that there's a great technology out there for testing on the web, and it's called Optimizely. And what it allows you to do is optimize different iterations on your site, and you could just throw 10 different things, take 2% of your traffic and put it to this, 20% of your traffic, put it on that, 5% of your traffic on that, and Optimizely, this would be red, this would be green, this would be blue, and you'll get the exact data around all this information. It's a phenomenal. The reason why it's so great is because it does not involve any tech and development work to actually implement it. It's just so that's huge because tech costs are so high. So definitely recommend that for startups. The second answer to your question is, the way we're structured is we have a head of editorial, we have 8 editors, like a video editor, a personal finance editor, a retirement editor. We don't have a single writer on our staff.
So where does the content come from?
We have 300 to 500 experts. So we have an expert in Bitcoin. We have 3 experts in Bitcoin. And every time we come up with an article, we will know who the expert is, and we will get a higher quality of content by giving it to an expert in Bitcoin then maybe giving it to one of our writers. If we have 5 writers, we couldn't have 500 experts. We would have people who might be an inch deep and a mile wide. So our model is, let's get the experts that know their stuff, and we pay them between $100 to $300, depending on the length of the article. And then if someone's really good, we'll say, okay, we're going to give you a batch of 30 articles. Here's a batch of 20 articles. And that's the way we do it. So it's all through kind of
And
freelance writers.
Those experts are freelance
Yep.
per piece.
Yep. But we have their bios on our site, and they get their name on it as well. So, it's not like it's just Investopedia.
And is there a range for what you pay them?
Between 100 and 300
per article.
per article, depending on the length of an article.
Okay.
Longer articles tend to be more sophisticated because they can go into more depth on something. Short articles are going to be more superficial, so we'll pay less for a short article. We also use a third party called Crowdsourced, which has a network of hundreds of writers that is also a cost-effective way of producing quality content.